following is a paid program. The opinions expressed are not necessarily those of WNBU and Interbanks Media. Welcome to All Things Money with David Blain, a thoughtful and revealing discussion of actionable ideas and effective strategies to help you through the complex world of investing, taxes, and real estate. Now, with All Things Money, here's David Blain.
Hello and welcome to All Things Money. I'm your host, David Blain. Thank you for joining us today on 94.1 FM WNBU and cable TV 10 in New Bern. Some of you may be listening over the web. We have all of our shows archived there at www.dlblain.com. And soon we'll have them also up on the Pleasanton Financial, the new office, the new company that we just bought out in California. We'll get the shows up there. Here we're working on a new website, and those should be ready in the next couple of weeks. But in the interim, you can go to dlblain.com, and there you'll find information about myself, my firm, as well as archive copies of the show. And there's a big Contact Us button on there. You can click on that if you have any comments or questions for the show, topics you'd like me to address, or a question on something that we talked about. You can also use your telephone. We still take phone calls in today's world, it seems like, anymore, the email and everything, but we still love to talk to our clients and friends out there. So the number is 252-633-0107. And the email to the show is allthingsmoney@dlblain.com. So we'd love to hear from you. I want to talk, today is October the 1st, 2013, is the first day of the new healthcare exchanges that are opened up. In theory, I'm not sure if anybody's actually been able to get on the site yet. I know I wasn't able to. I wanted to check it out this morning, but unfortunately it was not available. It just kept saying that we're working to make your experience better or something like that. But anyway, we'll talk a little bit about that. But before I do, I wanted to just mention today also is the first day of the government shutdown and these healthcare exchanges. So there's going to be a lot of information coming out. A lot of information directed at you. I had a question last week from somebody, saying, well, should we do this? Should we do that for our portfolio because of the government shutdown? And so I thought it would be a good chance to reiterate my position on information noise, what I call investment pornography, the constant drumbeat of information that comes out from the media. And, in fairness to them, they're trying to sell advertising, trying to sell newspapers, magazines, get you to watch their TV show. And so they can't come out and just say, develop a long-term strategy and basically stick with it, check back with us in 6 months or a year. So a couple of things that we want to talk about. Generally, the people that stay plugged into the news and things like that, their portfolios generally do a lot worse than those that tend to ignore it. I know clients are always amazed. I'll tell this little story. We look at the markets every day. We're constantly analyzing the markets, and now not to make a change that day, but that's just what we do. We're always looking at how we design portfolios, how different asset classes are interacting with each other, different things that are going on, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we're actually changing anything. But the investment world does change, and so we're incorporating this new information and looking for long-term type trends, long-term strategy. I mean, there are some things that were accepted in finance 10, 15 years ago that maybe aren't so more. So the point is someone has to look at it. We're not suggesting that you just invest your money today and completely forget about it and wake up, like Rumpelstiltskin or something. But so we're always looking at it. But I tell people, I cannot remember the last time I actually looked at my own personal portfolio balance. I don't even look at it. You just put money in there, 401k, any extra money just goes in the account, gets invested. In fact, my firm invests my own money for me, so I don't even actually place the trades. It gets invested. And I don't worry about it. I know that the investments that we own, because we own them for all clients, I mean, I know what the investments are doing, but I don't actually open my own portfolio up and look at it. It's just there's no point. I'm a long-term investor. If at some point I get to the point where I need to take money out, then maybe I'll have to look at it and see where we are. But I have a general idea of growing, and every year or two, like we do for our clients, I'll relook at my financial plan. But anyway, so back to the topic. We want to stop looking at the news so much, and because there's just not a lot of information there for you. If you truly, and this applies not just investing, but a lot of things. Today, the information age, we're just overloaded with information. And if you can cut the flow of information that's irrelevant, it really will help your productivity. I mean, there's just so much email and internet and Twitter and Facebook and texting and everything. If you can somehow stem the flow of irrelevant information, A, your life will be better, and B, you'll be able to accomplish more doing less. So, we believe in long-term investing, looking at clients' goals, objectives, designing a portfolio that, certainly gets adjusted along the way, but certainly not on a very frequent basis, certainly not daily or even monthly for most cases. And so when you have that sort of philosophy, the day-to-day drumbeat of news is largely irrelevant. And so when you're out there and you're listening to CNN or CNBC or Kramer or whatever, I want you to ask yourself a couple of questions when you hear this information. Number one, is this information usable? And I'll go back and talk about these a little bit further, but I want to lay them out. Is this information usable? Is it timely? Is it fact or is it hypothetical? And then finally, is it just plain distracting or is it useful information? And as you receive information, this could apply to anything, but as you receive information and you process it through this filter of these questions, what you'll see at the end is very little of the information you're actually going to use. The majority of the time, when I say we spend all day looking at the markets, we're not staring at a screen. We're studying the latest academic research. We're studying the latest, books that have been come out. We're not watching the summary of the day's financial events and, what happened in, the price of butter in Bangladesh. We're not looking at that stuff. We're looking at thoughtful, long-term, detailed studies of financial topics. Well, that brings us to the end of our first break here. When we come back, we'll continue talking about investment noise and how to deal with it. So for All Things Money, I'm your host, David Blain, and we'll be right back after a few short messages.